what kind of softwares are actually using the open source methodologies. Now, to answer first question, where like why would anyone come work for free, is the main concept which open source is like it's not like a mob, but in reality comes from the set of communities, and these communities are tied up with these important points, which are culture, value, customs, practice, ethics, and morals. Now, these are some of these communities are properties of these communities which are tied up with these. Now, if I say that you have the same culture, or if that community has the same culture, same value, okay, it only depends on the ethics that the community follows. You are in a community, and you're not expected to do anything, but whatever you're done is accepted. So that is why it is not compulsory that you have to work for it. It is voluntary. You're working for it, you're getting it. In another way, you're also getting advantages out of it. Now, what are the advantages is, open source, if you take a proprietary company, if you take Microsoft for instance, hypothetically speaking, okay, take 50,000 people working in Microsoft, okay? You take an open source community like Red Hat. How many people working in Red Hat? Countless. Everyone in the world can work on open source. Anyone and everyone who wants to come in. It's a community which is formed on the internet. Everyone can work on it. So it depends the kind of output. If it's same as one brain working on something and thousands of brains working on another thing, it's obviously going to be more better than the product which is developed. It's because more people are working on it, more brains are working on it, yeah, and the output is better. So now they have a common interest to get a better output, to get a better use, to get a better need, and this is what makes them to work for free. Now this is how you get the whole thing supported. Now, how safe it is and who controls it? How safe it is, to answer that question is, it is the community which is formed by safe people. Now, there are obviously controllers like the moderators who create the community. There are people actually who support who control the community. It's not like every Tom, Dick, and Harry comes in and puts in their code and everything gets accepted. There is a big team sitting behind every open source community who think about the code, who review it, and who review it and make suggestions about it. So it's all about making suggestions, creating a community, and giving optional feedback, which makes the community and which makes the open source system more stronger. So that's how the safe criteria and the support comes to. Now, support is normally done by the clients who are the community owners, the administrators and the moderators, do the support what is expected by the community. Now, it is not like you cannot have a company, or it is not wholly liable, or you cannot, it is always an open source system is marketed on an open source or open license property. So what happens is you can't hold anyone liable but the community. That's how the license is made. But it is on, you take that, if you accept the license, you can take it. But if you do not accept the license, then it is open that you do not agree. If you are really thinking about support that you need by a proprietary company, then you would have to go in for a proprietary company, but you would have to pay for it. If you cannot pay for it, then this is your valid option to get into a company. Which if you have the technique and if you have the skill set to support yourself, it's the best option. That's what I would say about the support. Fair enough?
Yeah. Like,
you don't look convinced, that's why.
I'm just thinking about another question. But
yeah, go on. That's okay.
It's just what about the integration with other softwares in your own company? Because if you take the example of Microsoft is developing software that you can easily integrate in your IS.
Yes.
And make them work, which is each other, like if you take Outlook,
yes,
and Exchange servers.
Yes. So
everything
okay,
is together.
everything is together.
Yeah.
I'll come it's just there. Okay, I'll just answer your question, which I have the next two slides. Yeah, that's fine. But I'll have it. He had a question saying that how can you integrate, or how can you integrate all your softwares in your organizations into one together, which Microsoft can do, right? So I'll just solve about software integration. Okay. Now, just to continue with it, was what are the business implications, or what are the business reasons that you can think, that I thought of embracing open source? Was making the software low cost, reducing time to market, improving the integrations, and satisfying more customers. Improving integrations, where I'll just look at the next slide. Now, making software is the low cost. It's obviously because it's free. All you have to do is spend money on your management, or spend money on how you can market, or how you can make it more personalized according to you. But the basic software always comes free. And satisfying more to your customers because it is more customizable. You don't have your code is open and free to you. You can do whatever you want. You can just take a product out of the shelf as an open source product and change it into something different that you want according to your particular needs. It's not like Windows XP, or you can't open the source code and you can't see. You can't make in Windows XP 2. Yeah, Panit?
Yeah. How do you think about the because from what I've heard is that open source software seems to be more user friendly compared to private software. How do you think about that?
Unuser friendly. I wouldn't say unuser friendly, but yes, I would accept that because it is a community, and a community depends on good feedback and vivid feedback. Now it depends that if an organization who wants to base their business on open source, they have to wait for good feedback. Till the feedback doesn't come, as in I have an open source company, okay, and I put in my software which is in the market, and I develop a product, say just for calculating just two numbers, but no one needs it, or no one does tell me that the calculator does not have a plus sign, or it doesn't add properly. Till that time, I have surely done it as a calculator, but no one given me responses, feedback. Now, till I do not get feedback, I can't make it more user friendly, because it's the user who has to use and give back me the feedback so that I can make it more user friendly. That is the only thing. Because it is a community, it depends on the people. But in proprietary, what happens is they do their testing, and they do their, according to them, what user friendly it is, they make it. And that's why what happens is most of the companies find it difficult to adopt to what they have thought is useful. Now, in open source, you can make something that is useful to you, but you have to give your feedback. Right? You had the perfect example of how the managers had images of saying that how the manager says it, and what is the end product given to. All this happens because the person or the organization who needs the software does not give out properly, and the software engineer or the developers take it in the wrong sense and develop a totally different thing, which is not required. This is what happens when you get a proprietary software. So now when you have an open source software, if you give a good feedback, it obviously can be molded according to what you need. Yeah?
Another thing is, I think it's user friendly because everyone's using it, so they're used to it. So Linux is not used by many. Linux can be user friendly, but I think it's not the way they see it.
Yes, it's not the way they see it, but it is also about marketing, how marketed it is, because nowadays, if you go into Linux and Windows, it's a very big topic that you can discuss about.
There's another thing, the amount of research going on to develop open source systems is not comparable to the amount of research being done for other software. The resources, the number of resources, the amount of capital put into that research. Because normally in open source, no one is going to invest money for research, right?
No, I wouldn't say they won't invest for money for research.
But the percentage of money invested would be like a percentage of